are live. Welcome back to another edition of the Earle Sports Bet Show. My name is Nicholas Earle, and today we have a 5-game NHL slate here. This is the last day, and then we get NBA back tomorrow. So Tim will be back on the show tomorrow to break down the NBA slate. But today, it's still just the NHL, and not really ending it with a bang here. This slate, I'm not a huge fan of this slate. I have a few spots I like, but this is nothing crazy in this slate here. So definitely yesterday, I think, was the better slate than today. But it is what it is. We still got some games to look at. We still got some interesting matchups. We'll look to try to find some spots to make some money. But before we get into today's card, before we get into today's games, we're going to recap what happened yesterday, what went right and what went wrong in the world of sports betting. We had a decent day in both college basketball and the NHL. Went 6-4 in both of those sports. Up 1.60 units in college basketball. Monmouth -7 wins. Arkansas and Florida goes over. We had under 135.5. Tennessee takes care of business. I believe they won by 18 or 20 points against Missouri, cashing to -10. Toledo takes care of business. They win by 42 points, cashing to -12.5. Over 141.5. Ball State and Kent State cashes. Losers on the over 119.5 with Boise State and San Diego State, and the George Washington Colonials +6.5. Fresno State Bulldogs -7 take care of business. New Mexico Utah State under 150 goes way under, and then we lost on our last play of the night with CS Bakersfield and Cal Poly over the 126. Overall 6-4 yesterday in college basketball. We went 6-4 in the NHL as well, or I went 6-4 in the NHL. Started off good, started off 6-1, and then lost the last 3 games. Lost the last 3 plays with the 10 o'clock games. Blues puck line, they take care of business. They won 4-1. They were the only dog in the 7 o'clock hour to win. Panthers team total over 3.5 does cash, but the full game puck line does not. Senators team total over 2.5 and the over 5.5 both hit. I said yesterday, if there was any team that would have been ruining parlays, it would have been the Minnesota Wild. And that I mean, they weren't the only team. We had the Columbus Blue Jackets team total over as well. They cashed team total over 2.5, -130, and then the full game over 6.5, both cash. So, yeah, we had in the 7 o'clock hour, we had the Nashville Predators, we had the Columbus Blue Jackets, and we had the Ottawa Senators all pull off +200 or better upsets. Yesterday was a dog day, and it continued into the 10 o'clock hour. Not with the Islanders and the Kraken. The Islanders win 5-2, but the under 5.5 is a loser there. Hopefully this is a good sign to come for the New York Islanders. This was a revenge game, though. It was a good situational spot for them. And the Ducks, first period money line, they lose the first period 2-1. And the full game puck line, they win in a shootout. So lost both those plays to end the night. 6-4 in the NHL, up 1.47 units. Overall yesterday, 12-8, up 3.07 units. Nice little bounce back day after the nightmare that was the day before. So I'll definitely take a positive day there, +3 units overall. And we have a nice little NHL. We have an NHL slate to get into today. We'll talk to the chat real quick, and then we'll look at today's slate. Good morning. Be a good day to rip the books always. Louisiana Tech +133. Yep, I'm on that as well, Tim. Believe it or not, the Coyotes win today, and it's not going to be a pretty win. I personally did not bet that game, to be completely honest. So I wouldn't doubt it. I recently hired a handicapper on. I can't stop one. Cool. There you go. But we will head into today's slate. Put up my plays on the bottom there. We're going to start it off here. An interesting little matchup. The Edmonton Oilers are traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Lightning here. The Lightning are on -205 favorites. We have a total of 6.5 in this game. And the Oilers here, they've actually looked pretty good as of late. They ran into the Minnesota Wild. They lost 7-3 in that game. But that was their 5th game in 7 days. They've been playing a lot of hockey lately. But previous to that, they had won 4 in a row. 3-0 win versus the Sharks, 5-2 against the Kings, 7-3 against the Ducks, and 4-2 against the Jets. And they just ran into a bad situational spot. We look at the Tampa Bay Lightning here. They haven't played since the 15th. This is their first game in 8 days. A long break here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I'm going to play the team that's hot here. I'm going to play the team that, they tripped up in their last game there, but if there was going to be a game they were going to trip up, it was going to be that one. I like the Edmonton Oilers here at plus 184. I'm gonna take a shot here with the dog in this game with the Edmonton Oilers. I still think they are a playoff caliber team. If they can get their goaltending situation figured out, they are still, I think, a potential Stanley Cup team because they got a lot of talent there on the top with McDavid, with Draisaitl. Nugent Hopkins is starting to play better. Zach Hyman's starting to play better. If they can get contributions from Warren Fogle and players like that. And then on the blue line, Darnell Nurse and Evan Bouchard have looked decent as well. So I think the Edmonton Oilers get right back on their winning ways. I also kind of like the team total over 2.5. You're getting a decent price at that at around minus 120. So that may be something I add on later in the day. One thing I'm going to start to do is I'm going to have a few plays during the show, but I'm going to be looking at adding plays throughout the day rather than having it all bet by the morning. If I think that the lines are going to move, I'm going to bet them early. But if I like a game and I think the line's going to move the opposite way, I'm going to wait a little bit later in the day. So for this one, I bet it now because I think this line is going to continue to drop. This was around plus 190 earlier yesterday, and this had gone down to plus 184 when I got around to betting it. And I think this might go down to plus 180, plus 175 here for the Oilers. So I like the underdog here to kick off today's slate. Oilers plus 184. The lean towards their team total over 2.5 as well. Sabres money line. No. Thoughts on the over? See, for me, I would look at Edmonton's team total over before the full game over because I don't know what to expect from the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. Seeing that they've been on a nice little 8-day break. Lightning have been telling me unders, and the Oilers have been telling me overs. So do with that as you please. 6.5 is a high number. This game is going to be a good one. Lightning wins this one. I think there's value on the Oilers, though. Coyotes, Canadiens, and Lightning. One of these things just doesn't belong here. That's all good. All right. We'll move on to the next game here. The Winnipeg Jets are at the Dallas Stars in this spot here. We have the Stars as minus 150 home favorites. We have a total of 5.5. For me, this game's a lean towards the over. We've seen Winnipeg trending a little bit more towards the overs when we look at expected goals. They did have their dip there. They had their first game in 7 days where they failed to reach at least 2 expected goals. They put up 1.48 against the Calgary Flames, but the Calgary Flames are just on a roll right now. Not a team you want to step in front of. And Dallas is coming in off of a 3-1 loss here against Arizona. I think this is a Dallas spot. I didn't bet this game. I don't know if I'm going to, but I may look at Dallas in regulation. You can get Dallas in regulation around even money. I think that's a nice little spot for them. I don't know if Winnipeg has been decent, but they have been outplayed in back-to-back games against Edmonton and Calgary, but that's Edmonton and Calgary. Those are usually tough teams to go up against. For me, this is a lean towards Dallas. Dallas has had a few days to sit on that loss against Arizona. So it'd be lean towards that way. They're back at home where they play much better. Dallas and Reg would be my lean in this game. I might pull the trigger on that later. We'll see. But for me, it's Dallas or nothing in this game. Moving on to the next spot here. This is a game I actually do like. We have the Colorado Avalanche. They're at the Detroit Red Wings in this spot here. Avalanche are on minus 285 favorites. We have a total of 6 in this game, and I'm going to be right on the Avalanche here. I'm going to take the Avalanche on the puck line. They're coming in off of that embarrassing loss versus Boston, where they lost 5-1. They were out. They lost the expected goals battle 4.43 to 1.63. But previous to that, the Avalanche had won 4 straight games in the expected goal battle, and 8 of their last 9 previous to that. This is a Colorado Avalanche team that will create chances. They will get pucks in the net, and they've had a few days to sit on that loss against Boston and let it stew a little bit there, kind of similar to the Dallas spot there. And then we have the Detroit Red Wings, who are coming in off of a 3-2 shootout win against the New York Rangers, but that was, I think that was 8 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see when that game was. That was a while ago. Detroit on the 17th. That was 6 days ago. It's been almost a week since the what do you call it? Played a game. For me, I love the Avalanche in this spot here. Not going to go with their team total over 3.5. That is a -155. It's a little juice. I just went with the puck line here because I can easily see this being 4-1 or 3-0, 3-1 type of game where the Avalanche just shut down the Red Wings offense. I don't know about the availability of Dylan Larkin in this game as well. That's going to hurt the Avalanche because he's day-to-day. He's questionable for this game with an undisclosed injury. So keep an eye out whether or not Dylan Larkin's going to be playing in this game. I like the Avalanche puck line at -120, though, to take care of business in this spot. All right. Morning, AJs. We will move on to the marquee matchup of the evening. The Buffalo Sabres are at the Montreal Canadiens. Canadiens are on -108, -110 favorites in this game. Total of 6.
Stop it. Get some help.
This game's gross. This is a bum fight, and I like a bum fight. I love me a bum fight. Looking at these two teams right now, we have the Buffalo Sabres coming into this game struggling a little bit as of late. They gave up 7 goals against the Columbus Blue Jackets in their last game, losing 7-3 in that game. They lost 5-3 the previous game to Colorado, 3-1 against the Ottawa Senators. They've lost 3 straight games since winning back-to-back games against the Canadiens and the Islanders. The Canadiens, on the other side, have been playing better hockey. They obviously took care of business in their last game, 6-2 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They beat the Islanders 3-2. They beat the Blues 3-2. This team's on a little bit of a run right now, and I'm not going to step in front of them. This is a Canadiens team that it's tough to back them, but now when they're playing like this, Martin St. Louis finally using this team the right way, and I think Cole Caulfield is a decent prop to score a goal today. You can probably get him for a decent number, probably. Not what he was yesterday or the last game against Toronto, where I believe he was plus 350 to score a goal. But Cole Caulfield to score a goal may make my card. You can get him for plus 200 now. That price dropped on him. For me, this is a spot where -110 though for the Montreal Canadiens. I didn't want to lay any juice here, so I took the Canadiens in regulation at plus 145. Got a nice little price on them there. I think that this is also a game where these two teams played a couple weeks ago on Super Bowl Sunday, and the Sabres won that game 5-3. I think this is a bounce back spot here for the Canadiens. Trying to avoid a season sweep against the Buffalo Sabres. Sabres won the first 3 matchups of the year between these two teams. Give me the Canadiens in regulation here in this spot. I think that they get the win here. This team in much better current form, and I think that this is a Canadiens team that we can look to back for the next few games when they're on this streak. So Canadiens in regulation for me. Yeah, Sabres beat but yeah, that means it's a little bit of a revenge factor as well. So I'm totally okay with that. Last matchup of the day. Not a huge fan of this one. The Los Angeles Kings are at the Arizona Coyotes. We have a total of 5.5. The Kings are on -200, 205 favorites. Here's the pretty simple thing about this game. I stayed off this game, but if I were leaning towards the side, I'd be leaning towards the Yotes. This is a Arizona team, this is an LA team that I don't think you should be laying minus 200 with on the road. I would also be leaning towards an over in this game. The Kings have gone over 5.5 in 8 of their last 10 games for expected goals, and 6 of the last 9 here for the Arizona Coyotes. So these are two teams that have been trending a little more towards goals. The Kings have gone over in actually 6 straight games, 8-7-7, 8-7-7 are their last 6 games for their goal totals there. So maybe we expect a little bit of a higher scoring game, but these two teams just played and it was a 5-3 game. Lean towards the Arizona Coyotes here in this spot. Did not bet it, though. Coyotes coming in off of that 3-1 win versus the Dallas Stars. So maybe they get a little bit of momentum from that game, but this is a pass for me. So that's how I'm going to be ending this slate, is with a pass. But that is everything on today's slate. We'll go over a quick recap, but first we're going to play the promo video, and then we'll recap, and then we'll head on out for today. A little bit of a shorter stream, not many games. So tomorrow will be a little bit longer because we're getting the NBA back. So I'm going to roll the bumper here, and then we'll recap and head on out.
When you head over to earlesportsbets.com, use code HOOP, HOOP, for 20% off the entire site. Also, don't forget to check out the link below for our $49 week pass.
All right. Quick little recap for today, and then we're going to head on out for the stream. Light slate for me. Only 3 plays for today. The Oilers at plus 184. I'm going with the Colorado Avalanche on the puck line, minus 120. And we're going with the Montreal Canadiens, plus 145 in regulation. But if this information was helpful to you guys at all, feel free to hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. And turn on those post notifications so you guys are notified whenever we go live here at ESB, which is every single morning, anywhere between 10 and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Earle Sports Bet Show. But that's just going to about wrap it up for this one. My name is Nicholas Earle. This has been another edition of the Earle Sports Bet Show. Thank you guys, as always, for watching, and good luck today.